Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for being here wherever you're joining from. Good to see everybody in the chat as always. Welcome to another week. And we're going to, going to kick things off. If you have a question, start your message with the letter Q. It makes it a bit easier for me to see it in the chat here. Otherwise, we're gonna just get things rolling. So nice to see everybody. Hello to the new folks who are joining today. For the first time, we're going to just chat about live streaming, ATEMs, YoloBoxes, Director Minis, RØDECaster videos. I've got all the switchers set up on the, that's the wrong one, on the desk there. And I have a new camera angle, which was that one I accidentally showed you, which is so that I can actually go up there and use the switchers and still be on camera. So only thing is I didn't get the Stream Deck set up, which is on the shelf there because I couldn't find my very long USB cable that needs to go around to the computer here. So I don't know about we'll see what happens since I won't be able to control it. That's a little crooked. Won't be able to control things while I'm up there, but I will be able to. This is also a new addition to the show, a microphone so I can walk around and you can still hear me. Sven says new live stream interface in the mobile Android app. Interesting. I don't think I've ever actually used YouTube on Android. Interesting. Nils says hello to all the horizontal people. So I'm trying something new, and I see a bug already with it, which is I'm streaming to YouTube twice, once horizontally and once vertically. So I didn't think to bring this in a place where I could put it on the camera, but I think it'll work. So for the vertical stream, I have it running on the Director Mini, and this is what's pushing the stream vertically. So I actually have a couple different layouts. I can go either show the full, man, that's really too dark. Where's my brightness? So I can show the full frame, or I can go into a close-up for the vertical, or this split view where it's actually got a picture of the lab. The problem is that I forgot that the chats appear twice now because I have the graphics loaded into the Director Mini, but they are also coming. This is like the program feed from the main switcher. So, like, if I do that, then you'll see the message twice. Although weirdly on that view, they're like in the same spot. That's really funny. So what I need to do is actually go over to. I need to go over to the ATEM and change what I'm sending out to the Director Mini. So that's instead of ME1, oops, where are you? Instead of ME1, I need to do, I've never actually used this before, clean feed. Let's see if that works. It does. Look at that. Now the downstream key is not being sent out on that. So that's handy. Sven says split view on vertical has an echo. I must have two mics enabled on that. I keep forgetting that the Director Mini lets you do scene audio. So we need to go and make sure that there's no audio on there. There it is. It's not just scene audio. It was audio follows video was turned on for HDMI 2. So now if I go into the split view, we should only have one copy of the audio. Much better. Cool. So I'll just leave that over here. And yeah. So we'll see how this goes. You should be able to, both chats should be going to the same place. So questions work in both. IT Never Gets Old says, my Roku accidentally picked up the vertical stream. I guess must be because I'm old. 60 today. Oh, happy birthday. I think vertical streaming is dumb. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. It's another way to view. Uh, Sven said, I remember you talking about the new gamification interface. Why do I have XP now? How silly. It was, they rolled it out last week to me. Lily's had it on her channel for a while. It's just a new thing. It's not part of the vertical stream. It is, it's in the horizontal stream too. So it's the, top fans, and it just shows, it like ranks you based on stuff like how many times you chat or if you send super chats and things like that. I don't know. It's kind of silly. I don't know if I like it, but it's here now. I don't know if I can turn it off either, come to think of it. Let's see if they've put any of that in the settings here. There's a new live chat summary feature. AI generated summary of the chat. I wonder how that works. I don't see any settings for it. So interesting. Yeah. The XP is separate from the vertical and horizontal. Yeah. So it's two completely separate videos on YouTube. There's no way to send YouTube like the same. There's no way to pull the same feed into two, or there's no way to make one event show up vertically and horizontally. So there's actually like a vertical canvas on the vertical stream. It's a totally separate URL, a totally separate stream key, and everything. But it does mean that Nil says it's silly that you have to create two separate streams. But it does mean that I can frame the vertical one separately, right? Because for the vertical stream, I can do things like I can create the full screen here and a second camera, or I can, frame it like this if I want to, but that's going to crop. But it's easier to see me when it's my face there. But when I'm showing the computer screen, I probably want to zoom out like that. So it does mean I can send two different things to the vertical stream and horizontal stream, which is kind of nice. So if you are watching vertically, let me know how you think it's working. And I don't know which one the chats are coming in on, because I have like this combined interface, so that's kind of funny. But yeah. Tobago Sports Live says, I'm using the C port out of my GoStream, sending the feed to my laptop, which runs vMix, and the audio is not going in clear to the vMix. Any help? Oh, interesting. No, I don't know. That should just work. It should just be like a normal USB audio device. Let me think. What could you try? I don't even know if there's like any settings you can change that would affect that, because it's not like frame rate where you can change the frame rate. Yeah, I'm not sure. What percent of your audience do you think watches on a phone? For me, probably very few, just because I don't have much content that is formatted for the phone, especially. So, Dylan says hello from Vertical. Mike says I've got both up in separate windows. The Vertical is about 4 seconds behind. I did set them both to ultra low latency, but they are two different encoders, right? One is the Director Mini, one is the ATEM. So there's that difference, and also like the streaming is not a second by second accurate thing anyway. So Sven says it'd be very smart if you could define two stream keys, one for one stream, one horizontal, one vertical, but of course that could be used for nefarious stuff. Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. So like the same video ID would have two separate representations. That seems like a pretty big architectural difference. Nil says they already have the fallback option. I think they should allow to send two different feeds to one stream. They do have the fallback option, but there's only ever one like feed being encoded publicly. So like if you like the video ID on YouTube only has one representation, even though it has two separate inputs. It's an interesting idea, but I feel like that's probably fundamentally not going to work. Oh, I guess I could check my channel stats to see who watches on what device. Let's see, audience. We've got... Wait, what? That's a lot of new viewers. I guess it's because I haven't been posting very many videos lately. Let's see. Let's go to the last 90 days. I thought there was a device type. Yeah, there it is. Oh wow, that's more than I thought. 30% mobile, 43% computer, 18% TV, 8% tablet. That's for everything. Let's see. Videos are the same. Shorts, of course, mobile dominates shorts. Live versus videos. So interestingly, there's more TV watching of live streams. I didn't even really think about that compared to computer watching, and more people watch my videos on a computer. Interesting. How do I do the map with the people in different locations? It's a whole thing. It's very cobbled together pile of custom code. Bulls promo says, last week we talked about making sure the YouTube live feed has stopped in studio. Can I make a shortcut using a Stream Deck? I would use the free 6 buttons on the mobile app. Ooh, good question. There is some automation in there's a connection for YouTube in Companion. It is a little bit weird to set up. I think I've done it once. Is this turned on right now? Oh, this might actually work better now that I have this on the computer instead of the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, it does. Okay, I didn't show you that sequence because that was me logging into it. And I can't show you this page because it has credentials on it. So the downside is that you have to go to the Google Developer Console and get an API key from Google in order to use the plugin with the Stream Deck. Once you do that, then you can log into it. When you activate the plugin, it'll log in. That part didn't work, if I remember correctly. Actually, that may be fixed now. So never mind. Anyway, Companion's running on my Mac now, so things are simpler compared to when you're running it on a Raspberry Pi and accessing it from a different computer. But it is connected now. And let's see if we have a way to make a button for that. Somewhere I have a YouTube page. So I think we can make a button now that says that will stop the stream. YouTube, finish broadcast. That's the one you're looking for. Finish broadcast. The trick is, I don't know how you're going to make the button, adapt to whatever is the live one. So there is a reload YouTube button. Where is it? Reload everything from YouTube. Okay, so let's do that. And then, oh weird, I don't know why it's only showing me those two. There should be more than that. What else is there? Start broadcast, go live, finish, advance the next phase, send message to live chat, insert advertisement, Add chapter time code to description. Oh, that's cool. Insert an advertisement cue point. But I don't know why it's not letting me, it's not giving me it's not showing me the things that are live. Reloading everything is supposed to reload everything, but it's not giving me them. Don't know what's going on. Yeah. So maybe. Firm maybe on that. John says, I hope YouTube chat doesn't turn into Twitch chat. Too much bling. Twitch chat reminds me of Friendster profiles. Yeah. Saul says, vertical looks okay on the Android phone. Great. Thanks. Is anybody else getting quick audio hiccups or echo on horizontal? I sure hope not. The issue with separate streams is the chat is partitioned if it's only meant as an input for the stream, but stops direct exchanges. That is a very good point. And I, again, have no way to tell which one is the chats are coming in on. So if you are not seeing some of the chats that I'm showing on the screen, it's because they're coming in from the other platform. Oh, this is... So I haven't actually switched over to the new microphone yet. This is my normal microphone. But let's switch mics. Okay, now we're on the wireless microphone. So this should sound, it sounds pretty different to my ears. No sound echo or hiccups. Great, they went away. Good. So this is the wireless mic now. So if I get up and move around, it will actually you'll be able to hear me still. I did a couple of EQ tweaks on this, just like I have on the main mic. So what I did was, this is the EQ for the wireless mic. So just a little bit dropped on the mids here. Felt like it was a little bit harsh without that. And then I dropped the top and bottom edges a bit. But relatively little processing. I wonder if Xbox counts as a TV. I used to watch from the Xbox and chat with my laptop. It probably does. My guess is it does. Sounds pretty close, but less room sound. Slightly different, but pretty close. Sounds good. Tiny bit muffled. Usually to EQ lav mics might boost the highs a bit more. You think so? Let's see. I have not done a ton of, haven't spent a ton of time on this yet. Let's see. Let's go back into here, and maybe I should actually boost that a little bit more. It's really subtle. Well, it's also very hard to hear myself on a delay. Very, very awkward. So I will have to, we'll see how that goes. It is so hard to EQ your own voice. Yes. Bring up 4 to 5K. What? Oh, the EQ. What did I just bring up? That was... It's weird that there's no frequencies marked on this. Okay, yeah, that's 2, 3K. Yeah, that works. Okay. What are you doing? Says, IMO, that muffled feeling is less sound of the room from the shotgun. Could be. Yeah, okay. Anyway, what should we talk about today? Oh yeah, so let's go over to the lab. Although I really wish I had my Stream Deck set up. But so now I can do things like go over there and actually play with them. And I set up, and now I really need to see myself for this. I set up a camera over here, which I should be in focus right here. Now I need a light because I'm not well lit. I need another light over here. I actually might have batteries in this. I'll have to fix this with a permanent setup. That's better. Anyway, so now I can, yeah, I need this Stream Deck to work for this to be really effective. But yeah, now I can actually like go over here, try these all out, poke buttons on them, show you stuff, and not just have to do the remote control option, which I was doing over here. The Sprolink is alive, yes, and I got my little extender power cord to plug it in. If only somebody had a question for one of those machines. Could you use companion emulator or web buttons on your phone? Yes, I could. That would be a good immediate solution. Until I can find my long USB cable, which is somewhere. Do you have a plan for clicking chat messages? No, I need to solve that too, which means I need more monitors. Randy says, if you had issues with the BGH1, I have issues trying to control them and view them over the Ethernet connection. Video connection to the ATEM is never an issue though. Sometimes I have problems with them. So sometimes oh yeah, it's kind of doing it right now actually. So I don't know where the other ones were here a second ago. Sometimes they disappear and you have to just like refresh the list. And then the preview, sometimes the preview doesn't show up and I have to just like click over here, let that one connect, and then click back. And sometimes that makes it work. Sometimes it doesn't solve it. And then that might just mean rebooting the camera, unfortunately. So yeah, it's definitely hit or miss on that. That one's working fine. Sometimes just clicking back and forth enough times will make it work, but not always. More monitors, yeah. I need a copy of my computer screen over there and a mouse somehow. I don't know. IT never gets old. Does anybody know when Elgato is going to ship the Ethernet link for the Stream Deck? Good question. That'd be a nice solution for this since I have a network switch down on the floor there. Mohammed says, I have a Blackmagic Intensity Shuttle. How can I work with Mac Mini M2 Pro? Ooh, Blackmagic Intensity Shuttle. That's an old one, right? I think that is... trying to remember which one. This one. USB 3.1, so not that old. I've never used this one before. I'm guessing that this works the same way as the other video capture devices, so you'll need to install the Blackmagic desktop software, because it's not going to work like a webcam. So you'll need to go to Blackmagic support, go to capture and playback, and then download the desktop video. And I don't know for sure if this if this one supports the oh well, it's Intensity Pro 4K. It doesn't say Shuttle. So you might have to go back a few versions to find the supported software for that then. But that's what you're going to need, that in order to make it work at all, because those devices are not they're not webcams. They don't show up like webcams. Do you have a noise gate on your live mic? Total silence when you're not speaking is disturbing. I do. I do that on the main mic too. Just because there's like this just constant slight background noise with all the fans in here of the gear. What are you doing? Says people at my church don't understand why I need so many monitors, not wanting to alt tab to Windows to see what's happening. I agree. I agree. More monitors is better. Are all Stream Decks wired? Is the iPhone app the only wireless? Yeah, they've never made a wireless Stream Deck. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. But at that point, it's basically just the iPhone, I guess. Not paying attention to alt tab can be a disaster. So that's, I mean, this is actually one of the things that I've not found a good solution for here, because I want, so when I'm like, is that in focus? It is. So I have one monitor for this computer, and this is the monitor that also shows up on the stream, like when I do this. And that's on purpose because I want to make sure that I can always show you software that I'm working on. But it does mean that if I want to see the chat, I need a separate screen, which is what that is for. That's actually it's a Raspberry Pi with a little skinny monitor. And that's just so I can see chat messages coming in, but I can't interact with it. I've thought about actually plugging in I used to have a second monitor plugged into the computer when I was doing this a while ago. I don't remember why I got rid of it, actually. Maybe it's just because I'm running out of space, because I have the multi-view and I have the teleprompter and a computer. I don't know where a third monitor would go. But it would be useful to have an actual monitor on my computer that I could use, so I could just keep the chat always visible there. And then that screen is what I would want to also mirror up there, so it probably would have to go through the ATEM. So yeah. Aiden says, I've seen people use companion satellite on Raspberry Pi and a battery bank to make a wireless Stream Deck. That sounds pretty good. Gwen says, curious if anybody knows anything about the FeelWorld FVM215 monitor, 21.5 production monitor for $500 seems to me too good to be true. FeelWorld FVM. I have not seen this one. Yeah. HDMIs and SDIs. $4K input, the 1080 screen. That's probably one of the reasons it's not as expensive as others. But I don't know. FeelWorld stuff is good. A touchscreen service for interacting with the chat might be nice. Yeah, I could just use an iPad, because I do have, it works okay on an iPad. I have it with like a slightly different layout on the iPad. Kura says, if you're planning to buy new streaming equipment, would you recommend streaming in 4K, or is HD still sufficient? There's quite a significant price difference between the two. Yeah. I really still think that HD is totally fine and will be for a very long time. 4K is just, there's so much more involved to make it work. And like you're seeing, like the price is, it's not just like double the price. It's, you know, it's like 4 times the price. It's a big difference. Everything is just, because if you're doing just like one camera into a computer or whatever, it's fine, right? Like that's not a big deal if you're streaming from OBS or something. But if you want to do actual multicam streaming, or streaming multicam or stream, you know, like what I'm doing, where I'm switching between the computer screen and a camera or different cameras, then you just need, it's just the list of things you have to get and upgrade to 4K starts getting long. So I really think that the benefit, the payoff of 4K is not actually worth all of the expense and effort. Because at the end of the day, like, there's so many more things you can do to improve your live streams first, like audio, lighting, and hardwiring your cameras, upgrading your network so that you're not streaming over Wi-Fi. Like, there's tons of stuff that you can do before you switch over to 4K that are going to make a bigger difference. So maybe if you have all of that dialed in, then that's like the last thing you can upgrade. But I still think that, like, it's not actually worth all the trouble. Oh, Razor Baby joined as a mini supporter. Thanks very much. New channel member. If you are a channel member, make sure you click the link below into the members only section, which gives you a link to the Discord where you can find the Discord for channel members. And once you link your account, you'll be able to see all the channels in there and chat throughout the week. CSD Global says, had a scary morning, had a call out to help a local church. They had 2 basic USB webcams direct to a dodgy laptop via OBS. We did it, but it made me grateful for hardwired physical switchers. Absolutely. That's another great, great example. No need to upgrade to 4K till you have that 9th switcher. Yeah. Bowles from us says, nice to see you live the other day in Australia, daytime live stream. I don't even remember what did I do? When was I live? It's been a week. It's been, what was I? Oh yeah, right. I was doing a members only stream for setting up the companion pages for that, for all the switchers up there. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. It's been a week. Sven says 4K streaming can pay off if you have a client who wants it. I would say it isn't needed, but if the client wishes and pays for it, being able to do it might be the competitive edge. That is a good point. Just because nobody actually needs a 4K stream doesn't mean people won't pay to make 4K streams. So if you are providing live streaming services and you are finding a lot of people asking for 4K, then if they're willing to pay for it, then do it. But make sure you're charging the appropriate amount extra, because oftentimes the clients will not fully understand the difference in what it takes to pull off a 4K stream. Gwen says, Feel World monitor seems like slightly less bright version of the OSEE 21.5. Other features seem similar, but 500 versus over 1,000. That is a big difference. That is a big difference. Michael says, I downgraded my Netflix to the 1080p only plan, even though I have a 4K TV. Am I wrong? K9 says, what's the lowest cost entry-level 1080p camera for streaming? Would prefer new rather than hunting down matching used cameras. Camcorder, webcam, DSLR, fixed lens, no preference there. Great question. Are you looking for multiple, I guess, would be, I assume yes, if you're talking about matching used cameras. And also, what is your acceptable quality level? And what are you filming? Is it, because I do think that, like, if you are going to be, every day setting up and tearing down a shoot where you're going out in the field somewhere and maybe you don't have access to power, that's going to be a very different recommendation than I'm setting up a studio for a podcast set or something, right? And then, because, yeah, so where did it go? I don't know where it went. I must have actually been tidying things up and I put them away. The little AV cans PTZs that have a battery in them are pretty affordable. Like $350 is about the base level of what I would say is like any good quality camera. Those are not going to be good. I wouldn't use those in a studio, but they're good for portable stuff, right? Cool. Podcast and streaming from a horse farm using ATEM Mini Pro ISO for switcher for podcasts. Cool. Okay, so if it's a podcast set, then I would, the things you're going to look for are make sure you can power it from being plugged into a wall. So don't use batteries at all. So you want to make sure it can do wall power. And then for a podcast, you probably want, you don't want just all wide angles, right? So that's going to knock out things that have fixed wide angle lenses like GoPros or equivalents that are better than GoPros. So the other, so you're going to want to be able to, like, you know, zoom in to get a close-up shot of someone's face. So then the next question is, do you need PTZ or no? Probably not, because if it's a podcast set, you can just set up the angles in a fixed location and be happy and be done with it. I finally do have, so I'll show you this, oops, wrong one. I'll show you this PTZ camera. This one is a PTZ, and I can actually go and zoom in on the individual devices now. This is one of the cheapest PTZ cameras, but and you can see the quality is definitely not the same as my main camera, but it's decent, right? It's like, it gets the job done, and at the price, it's definitely better than spending $3,000 on a PTZ. That one is the AVCans. They sent me one, and I did a video about it, and then I bought a second one because I was like, this is actually good enough for using for for stuff. Let me post that link. So that one is $350 to $400 depending on when you buy it. There's also yeah, another recommendation from IT Never Gets Old on for the AV cans. There's also the next tier I would say is like mirrorless cameras. So those, you're gonna have to start budgeting for like 500 to 800, depending on if you're finding used ones or new ones. Sony's ZV-E10 is a solid option. The nice thing about those is there's good lens options, which will cost more if you upgrade the lens, which is worth it. So that's a pretty good option. Again, if you can sometimes find those used, and if you just get all the same camera, it's going to be fine. And then camcorders, I don't know if I would say I don't think I have a recommendation for a camcorder that's like in that price range yet. I'm trying to find one, but not super happy yet. Sony A5100 was recommended to me, but it was frustrating trying to find 4 of them from separate sources. So the ZV-E10 is like the direct upgrade path from that one. That one's the older model. The A6400 is also a good option, which I think is the same sensor as the ZV-E10, but you can sometimes find those a little bit easier. But yeah, if you're going that old in the generation, it can be hard to find multiple of them. Razor Baby says, has Magewell added, or will they add video follows audio to the Director Mini? No, they don't have that yet. That is a good point. They have, yeah, they don't have that in here yet. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but they usually also don't talk about things until they're shipped. Even the like they're I don't hear about stuff from them early. Some of the other companies do like beta programs and stuff. Walt, welcome. Love your hello from Map. How do you do that? Is this something you sell? It is not something I sell, unfortunately. But it is, there's a slightly different but not automated version of it. I just realized, are my links going to the right stream? It looks like they are. There's a not automated version of it that works similarly, but it's H2R graphics. It's not exactly the same, but there is a map feature in this. Is it on the homepage? I can't remember. No, it's not on the homepage, but it's in there somewhere. Docs. I don't know where the docs went for it. Well, anyway, it's in there. You also have to set up your API key and stuff, which is annoying, but that's just thanks to YouTube. What are you doing? Has a good tip. If you didn't already buy the ATEM Mini, I suggest saving up for the Extreme. Most people I've heard from wish they had more inputs for other things. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. If you are doing a 4-camera podcast setup, then the ATEM Mini uses all 4 of the inputs for the cameras, and then you can't do things like add a screen share. So like, again, may not be relevant for what you're doing, but I think it's really useful to be able to do like plug in an Apple TV, and then people can share stuff from their phones. So you can just screencast from your phone to the Apple TV. And you can like, people can show photos from their photo album, or things like that. And the other one would be a computer screen if you're plugging in a computer, or if you want to do live streams and bring in chat messages, that's going to take up another slot of your camera inputs. So if you really are going to have 4 cameras, which is I mean, you can do a great multi-cam podcast with 3 cameras, right? Wide shot and 2 close-ups. And then you would save 1 for graphics or whatever. But the Extreme with 8 inputs is gonna let you do more stuff later that you might not be planning on right now. Eric says, first time ATEM Mini buyers or more, so you should get more HDMIs every chance you get. Yeah. Anybody have a used Extreme ISO I can buy? Actually, I might. I did just put one back into commission because it is the, where is it? This one. It's running this view now. So I have all the switchers on the desk routed back into an ATEM Mini Extreme so that I can show the multi-view and the outputs. But the one that is on Lily's studio right now, I'm going to swap it for a RØDECaster video, which is another option actually for you if you're not familiar with it. Take a look at the RØDECaster video. I have several videos on the channel already, and there's one specifically about doing a podcast format with it. The reason I say that is because, so it is for HDMI inputs, but there's also webcam input, like USB webcam input, and other ways to get video sources in. And there's some things coming out on it soon that I can't tell you yet that are going to make it even more useful for that. So definitely take a look at it. It's like pretty much the perfect device for podcasts. Mother Skunk says, would you say that RØDECaster video is the best switcher when it comes to audio and doing music related streams? Probably yes. I mean, the ATEM does have good audio processing features in it, which can get you a really long way without having to have a full mixer. But the RØDECaster video is an actual like actual audio mixer in it too. So it's, yeah. Michael says, same here, ATEM Mini Extreme and now Constellation 2ME. Yeah. It's good to buy an ATEM Mini and an Extreme. That way you can always bring a backup. Yeah, right. Such a tease. I need a RØDECaster. I'm just going to say their beta program, their beta they just went through, has some pretty fantastic features. I also hope it's not 10 months. I have a feeling it won't be because they actually did like a public beta program where there was a bunch of people testing out the new features and stuff. So it's clearly there, unlike the first time before the RØDECaster video launched, where it was 10 months from me seeing the device in that private event and a slide deck with features, a long list of features, to it actually showing up. So Mike says, RØDECaster video beta. Yeah, you were in the beta, right? Link to RØDECaster, please. Okay, let me grab a link to... Is it this one? Is it this one? This one. There's the link to the RØDECaster video, and also I'm going to find my link of my video about podcast. Oh, right, it was the auto switching feature that I did. Auto switch your podcast with the RØDECaster video. Yeah. Itachi says the Extreme G2 looks really good. Also true. Also very true. The Extreme G2 does look... So the reason that I am excited about this, where is it? I'm annoyed that when I click on that, it doesn't take me to a page about that. Where is the Extreme G2? So, one, the buttons are much nicer. They're like actual broadcast buttons. And there's a more reasonable number of buttons also. But one of the really cool things about this is it has like the Ultra Studio built into it. So if you plug it in over Thunderbolt to a computer, then you can send graphics from like OBS or other software in your computer into the ATEM over Thunderbolt, rather than having to run a separate box and plug in cables. So that's very cool. I'm very excited about that. If the G2 came in an SDI variant, I would probably already have one. I hope they make an SDI version. Yes, I use some of the beta features extensively. Great new feature set installed. Great. Yes. Michael says, I did recently get an ATEM SDI ISO for 4 channels of replay. That's a really good point too. That's it's a really good, relatively affordable extremely affordable 4-channel recorder, right? There's like almost no other way to do that. Omer says, I have ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Extreme, YoloBox Ultra. I think I'm going to buy the RØDECaster video next. That's a good, solid chunk of devices. You will probably enjoy the RØDECaster video. I will just say that. Can you replace any of the 8 inputs with the USB ones, or only certain ones? Wait, what is this about? Is this about the ATEM G2? I'm not actually sure about that because I didn't get a chance to dig that deep into the menus at NAB when I saw it. I'm Trying to find, let's see if the specs give us any clues. Total video inputs is 9. There's 8 HDMI inputs. I thought there were 10 rows of buttons. Yeah, so there's interesting. So there's 10 buttons. There's 8 in physical inputs, and then they say 9 total video inputs. I think that does mean that the Thunderbolt does not take up one of the slots of those. I think that's what that means. It's hard to tell from this, though. Michael says the hidden issue with using the SDI ISO as a replay source is it forces file splits every 90 minutes or so. Does it? I wonder if that's something specific to the file system you're using, because I don't remember it doing that. Interesting. I should try it on, because I'm streaming this from the ATEM Mini Pro ISO SDI. And I should set that up. I did set up a workflow, which I haven't actually taken advantage of yet, but I did set up my companion button that starts the show to also tell my HyperDeck to record the show. And it's recording to the cloud pod. So all of my streams now I have local recordings of, which has not been true in the past. Okay, so if we go over to, this is the one that is streaming. Sync to Blackmagic Cloud. No. I don't have a drive connected. Do I have a drive nearby? It would be really nice if the ATEM could record to network storage, but instead it is network storage. I have no idea what's on this drive. Let's find out. Is this going to work if I plug it into my little patch? No. Some of my devices don't like the little keystone splitters. Let's try plugging that in directly. There we go. Oh, it's the house files drive. Oh, there's plenty of space on it. ISO record. Let's hit record and see. Well, I'm not streaming for 90 minutes, but I'll just let this run after the show too. I'm recording to a 4 terabyte Samsung T9 HFS Plus. Curious to know if there's a solution, because it's really annoying. I should probably check what format that drive is in before I go too much farther with this. Let's find out. Where is my computer? Ugh. So let's see. This is exFAT. And I've got a lot of free space. Oh, it's actually not a house files project anymore. It was something recorded, something I recorded at Lily's studio on July 10th, 2024. Oh, wow, that must be when I did the studio tour of her setup last summer. Okay, well, I don't need that folder anymore. So this is GUID partition map, exFAT format, and I will, I'm just going to plug this in and hit record and let it run way after I'm done with the show today. And I will have to follow up in Discord about how that goes. Cool. Clarence says, what's your opinion on running HDMI fiber optic cables for long distances? Fiber HDMI stuff got way affordable recently, and it's great. Like if it's if you can be reasonably sure that you're not going to run it in a place that's going to get stepped on or run over, I think it's a great option. It is. I have a couple of them here. I actually used to use one for when I had the room set up differently, when I had a longer run to do. They're great. They're great. It's of course more fragile because it's fiber, but as long as you're not, people aren't going to be stepping on it, you know, it'll be fine. Producing a virtual press release, I'm thinking OBS into Zoom, multiple speakers, video. What's the SOP? Virtual press release. Are the speakers remote? That's the first question. The multiple speakers and video. So press release. So I guess the broadcast. So yeah, the broadcast platform. If this is not public, then Zoom is definitely a good option. You can do like you can do events in Zoom where you can just do a regular Zoom call. You can do a webinar. Depends on the plan that you have with Zoom. You can make the webinar require registration if you want to. So that is a good platform for the end. Getting the video into Zoom is then you know, the lots of different options for that, right? So OBS is one option, but it's if you have multiple cameras, you're going to quickly run into limits on the computer with multiple capture cards and stuff. Oh, here we go. Everybody is remote and the public is invited. If everybody is remote, then you basically the options are Zoom has a whole like built-in features for this. So like forget the world of video switchers, and if you're just in Zoom, you can with the right plan, which I don't remember what pricing tier it's at, you can make it so that it's a webinar, which means anybody who joins the call, you can make it public, anybody can join, but they won't be able to turn on their cameras. It's a broadcast only. And then on your end, you can choose people who are in the call and invite them in as panelists, and they will be able to then you know, broadcast, you know, join and actually talk. So that's probably the easiest option, just because like Zoom has all the features built in and everything. And if everybody's remote, people generally can figure out how to use Zoom pretty quick. Other options, if you want to turn it into more of a production, if you go into the world of video switchers, like think of an ATEM Mini or a RØDECaster or whatever. Why did the HyperDeck stop recording? Huh. Right as I said how I had set up a workflow for automated recording of the show. That's so funny. It's like it crashed. HyperDeck locked up. Oh my God. Wow, it crashed. What in the world? This thing, like the audio bars are frozen and it's totally locked up. That's crazy. I have not had that happen to this yet. What I was getting at was if you go into the world of video switchers, you can bring in guests from Zoom and then turn it into like a multicam production where the video switcher doesn't really know they're from Zoom. It's just a video feed. There's a couple different ways to do that. There's There is the like vMix. People are in the chat are recommending vMix, which does have native integration with remote guests over Zoom, which is good. If you don't want to use a computer for it, you can also get your video feeds out of Zoom and then into physical cables and bring it into any video switcher. Oh yeah, Ecamm is also another good option that can use remote guests or Zoom integration. The other totally different option is not Zoom, but StreamYard. It's actually a really good platform too, and it's probably the easiest way to manage this if everybody's remote, because you send people a link and they just click it, they join in the browser with whatever camera's on their computer, and then they will once they join, they show up in like your backstage view, and then you can just click to bring them on the screen, click to remove them. StreamYard manages the multi layouts all automatically. You don't have to create anything custom, and then it can broadcast to whatever. So it can broadcast to YouTube or how would you? I think you can. I think you have to have a special Zoom account if you want to broadcast it to Zoom from StreamYard, but I think it's possible. But that, if it's just public, I would just go to YouTube anyway. Can people chat on StreamYard? So yeah, so there's like a backstage chat for people who are like on the in the production room, and there's also, if you're pushing to YouTube, YouTube chats get pulled in, and you can show them on the screen, like kind of like this. Is that the old PoE version of the HyperDeck? It is not. It's actually the new one. That's so weird. New question. I'm ATEM Mini Pro using from last 3 months. It's working good, but from 1 week, it's not giving multiple views in the monitor. Is it just that the setting is wrong? So if you are, it doesn't always come back up in the same state that you turned it off in. So if you go to outputs up here, there's, this is the SDI version, so I have 2, but you'll just have 1 output in the regular ATEM Mini Pro. But then make sure multiview is checked, because if you, it's possible that it's just showing you camera 1 or just program. So check that. I didn't give myself a remote power cycle for that HyperDeck. Oh well. And save state, yes. So the trick is when you, once you do choose multiview and your ATEM is set up and labeled and everything the way you want, make sure you go to File, Save Startup State. That button is your friend. And then it will remember the current state of the settings and like inputs and what's selected and stuff. So it's a good idea to do that every now and then. Clarence says the audio coming out of StreamYard is not great at all. It shouldn't be that different. I mean, it's like, I'm sure not as good quality as like a proper production workflow, but it shouldn't be noticeably bad. Mother Skunk says, I know Rodecaster video only talks to Rode mics and Rodecasters. Have you ever tried plugging in a class-compliant audio interface? I have a Boss Gigcaster that iPhones, iPads, and PS5 can see. I have not actually tried it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, though. How many ATEMs do you have on your network? Yeah, did you see the connection? SDI Pro ISO is one pushing the stream to YouTube right now. For me is doing most of the show. I have a ATEM Mini, original ATEM Mini in the rack that just to give myself a few inputs for HDMI devices. Like I think it's like the Unify camera. There's a camera from a on the 3D printer corner. There's I think the Cloud Pod is connected to that also, so I can switch between that because I never need all at the same time. This one is the one that's on the shelf back there now, and then this is the one that has the outputs of each of the devices. The outputs of all of the devices get routed into the ATEM Mini Extreme that's up on the shelf, and that is that's showing you all those. And there's actually one more, which is on a different VLAN, which is Lily's ATEM Mini Extreme for her show, but that's on the different network, so it doesn't. It's on the different VLAN, so it doesn't show up in the auto network, auto discovery. Craig says, I'm looking at an ATEM Production 2ME or 4K Constellation 2ME. Which would you prefer? Production 2ME 4K or Constellation 2ME. The production studio, I'm trying to remember which, their names are just so... Okay, Constellation 2ME. There is a 4K version of it also, or Production Studio, which is the older one, right? 4K. I mean, I think it depends on if you need 4K or not. But the big difference with the Constellations is it is going to make your life a lot easier because all of the inputs have the standards conversion on them. So you don't need to match your frame rate of everything that's plugged into the Constellations, but you will on the older one. So on the older one, everything has to be exactly the same. Like 2997 and 30 will not, like you have to set everything in 2997. It can be really annoying to get that right because some of the devices like won't have the right combination of settings, and you'll have to put scalars, and those are expensive and bulky. So the Constellation, just all that goes away. It's really nice. I would probably go with the Constellation unless you really need 4K and don't want to spend the extra for the 4K Constellation. Recon Adventure says, I'm in the market for a switcher. I've been using OBS, but looking at upping my production and offering it as a service. Should I look at the Rode over the Atem Extreme? They're definitely different different devices. I would say the Rodecaster Video is much more all-in-one, like you can just make a kit around the Rodecaster Video, make it set up around the Rodecaster Video and not have to buy much else. Other than cameras and mics, obviously. But because it has, you know, streaming and recording and some decent graphics abilities in there. The ATEM is much more, the ATEM Extreme does have recording and streaming built in, which is like the whole point of the mini line compared to the bigger ATEMs. But it is still going to require more extra things around the kit to make it work well. So I would say spend a little bit of time, go through, search on my channel for Rodecaster Video, because I have a couple of videos about different applications of them for different uses. Take a look at some of those and see if you like the way that looks like it works. And then same with the Atem Extreme. You'll end up having to do a lot more, like definitely a lot more manual configuration to build scenes and automations and stuff with the Atem. So take a look at some of those videos and see if that different people have different ways that they like to work. So like it can be like fun to, you know, tinker and have full control, manual control over everything. But it can also be really frustrating, and people just want the one button that works. In the RØDECaster video is much more like that. K9 says, best way to extend HDMI over Cat6 for 4 cameras. I saw something called an HDMI matrix extender on Amazon from a company called OREI, but not sure if that's what I need. Are you doing... Yeah, so I have some of their stuff, and I like it fine. I am about to actually put in the 8x8 extender into the house. I've been wiring that up. I've got... I spent most of yesterday getting it to this point. Half of the wires are done, and these are nice and clean and tucked in. I'm going to fix this up a little bit later, but yeah, anyway, some of these go to TV locations on the walls, and I'm going to put the receiver end of the matrix on that. The question is, so the matrix part of that word means that if you have like 4 inputs and 4 outputs, you can change any of the inputs to go to any of the outputs. So it's more than just a direct link, and that makes the price go up a lot. So if you don't need that ability, then you can get just the point-to-point extenders that are fixed. Like you plug in HDMI, you have an Ethernet between the transmitter and receiver, and then the receiver outputs HDMI. So, and then you just get 4 of those, and that'll be a lot cheaper than the matrix, which will let you dynamically switch them. So if you don't need that feature, the matrix feature, not worth spending the money on it, because it's going to be a lot more. See if you can find Omer's question from 18 minutes ago. Oh, gosh. I do not need the matrix ability. Do you have a link to the P2P? Sure, let me find it really quick, and then we'll move on. There's a quick link to it. Let's see. What is... Yeah, they're like $40. This one's probably fine. I have not actually bought this one, but based on what I'm reading, it is going to be probably just fine. Where is it? Okay, cool. Okay, let me try to find that question. Is it this question? I have a problem with my ATEM Mini Pro. When I connect a Blackmagic camera to the second input, I get an image, but when I connect another camera, I can't. ATEM Mini Pro. So the I'm just scanning through to see if what you all have said already. Oh, there's a whole conversation here. So wait, so the Blackmagic camera does work, but other cameras don't. Okay, so first on the ATEM Mini Pro, there is a difference between the first input and the other 3. So the first input just has a different HDMI chip, so different cameras will work, behave differently on the first versus the other 3. So first of all, try changing changing to other inputs to see if that works. Second thing is make sure that the camera is not sending 4K. Or some other weird resolution. Sony and Panasonic, there usually are output options, HDMI output options on those cameras. So make sure that you've set those to 1080 and not 4K, because sometimes they will try to send 4K and that won't work with the ATEM. The third thing is I have seen and heard of people whose ATEMs where an input on the ATEM just burns out, and it could be that, but if you're getting some input from some cameras, a signal from some cameras on that input, it's not burnt out. So it's probably the camera setting. Those are the things I can think of. Recon says, I've seen a few of your videos now and I like to customize as much as I can, also integrating stuff I made in After Effects. Been leaning towards the Extreme. So, cool. I wish I was better at After Effects. Let me see if I have a quick... Well, this is why I have the lab, so let's see what we can do with that. So I have the RØDECaster video, and I have an Atem Extreme. Let me show you the RØDECaster video. Although if you've seen my videos, you've probably already seen this. RØDECaster app. The main difference between the RØDECaster video is going to be with the scene builder. So the scene builder is not working today. What is going on? Are we getting... Oh, it's just taking a while to load. Normally we'd see the preview there. What is going on? Huh. Let's reconnect. So the main difference is going to be how you are creating layouts. I feel like that's like weird. Something going on with my network that's causing all my devices to crash. That's weird. I wonder if that's related to the HyperDeck crashing. Huh. Oh, now it's back. Although I'm still not... There it is. Now I'm getting a picture. Oops. What the heck is going on? So the scene builder, this is what I wanted to show you, is the equivalent of this is the super source in the ATEM Mini Extreme, but it works completely differently. So the scene builder in the RØDECaster video, what is going on? That's going to be annoying. Well, I've got a network glitch somewhere, and I suspect that it's not a coincidence that the HyperDeck crashed and I'm having that problem. And I did have issues with the BGH1 software. It's an interesting point. I wonder what's going on. Let me go into my network and see if it's saying anything. I did just, oh, the switches in the rack are getting readopted. Interesting. Why? And that one got disconnected entirely. I wonder if I'm drawing too much power from one of these PoE switches. And it's freaking out. Something is definitely wrong with the network. So this week it was super hot in Portland, and at one point on it was like Wednesday or Tuesday. It was Tuesday. It was like 8:58 a.m. and I was like, got up my laptop, got my headphones, ready to join this meeting, which I actually host. And as soon as I went to go click and launch Zoom, the power shut off. And the entire block was no power. And I was like, I guess I have to switch over to my cell phone to join this meeting. And it just took me a little while to do that. And thankfully, someone else was able to host the meeting. And I joined like 10 minutes late. Meanwhile, you know, chaos around here. Everything's beeping, power supplies and blah, blah, blah. UPSs. It was wild. But the power was out until like 12:30 p.m., which is very unusual for it to take that long to come back. I guess something blew up down the street and they had to go fix it. Anyway, I left everything powered off until this morning, and then I turned it all back on. So maybe that is part of what's going on. Also, that switch is now, it's saying adopting again, and it's the one that's in the rack there. It's really weird. There have been some slight artifacting every once in a while on the stream too, not anything major, but maybe related. Maybe. I don't know. Omer says 134 inputs work well. I tried 1080 and 720. Second port works only with Blackmagic cameras. That's super weird. And you're 100% sure that the cameras work in the other inputs and they're not trying to send 4K. That might just be broken then. $106. That's too many degrees. That's a lot. Cool. Okay. Anyway, that was let's see, is my switch coming back up? It is. Nothing's even plugged into that switch. That's disappeared again. Okay, what is that one plugged into? Port 4 of... Now, two of my other switches are cycling. That's not good. What the heck? They're all plugged into the same 48 port PoE switch. So I wonder if we're doing fine on power budget. Speaking of temps, can we get the weather ticker for the last 9 minutes? Yes. let's bring the weather ticker back. If you have joined, if you've said where you're from and you're on this map, then the weather in your location will be rotating through this. Reboot the Unify controller? Maybe. May need a complete shutdown and restart because of your power issues. I mean, I effectively got that. Oh wow, the whole PoE switch that is in the rack is going through a cycle, a power cycle, or a adopting cycle right now. I wonder if that means the stream's going to drop, because that's everything is plugged into that right now. I don't know if it's actually like rebooting or if it's just getting reconfigured from the controller. That's very weird. The mysteries of Unify gear. That is, yeah. Maybe it's time to end the stream and do a proper staged restart of the system. Maybe. I probably actually should end the stream anyway, because I need to get on a bike. It's catching and spreading. Okay. Last bits before we wrap this up. I think we're going to wrap this up. Michael says, fun fact, Hayward Field in Eugene is upgrading to use a Constellation for the in-stadium screens. That's cool. StreamYard is completely obscuring their pricing. Interesting. It used to be very straightforward. Which release channel do you stay on for Unify? I'm pretty sure I'm just on like I'm not on the betas. Let's find out. I'm on official, yeah. But there is an update available. Let's see what's the what are the notes. I don't care about content filtering. I don't really care about system logs, but I should probably update anyway because sometimes there's little things that get. I guess that's what I'm gonna do when I shut the stream down is go run the update on the network, and hopefully we have better luck next week. So weird. Is Intel NUC PCs good enough to record and playback for an ATEM 2 switcher via SDI HDMI? Record and playback. Not quite sure what you are trying to do. Video. I want to buy a NUC Intel as a video recorder and playback. So if you are using a ATEM SDI ISO, then that you can record that to a drive and then mount the drive over FTP or as a network share and play back the files. And that's, if you use Resolve, that's the replay workflow, instant replay workflow, where Resolve can actually go into the file as it's being recorded and play back from anywhere you want. So that is actually a and for that, I'm pretty sure a NUC would be fine because it's actually you'll need another hardware device to get the video out of Resolve. I'm pretty sure Photo Joseph has a good video on this. I'm trying to remember who's done a good Resolve instant replay workflow these days. Yes. Joseph has a good video. I'm gonna drop a link to his video in this. It's a very thorough video and goes into all the details here because this is even though if you don't need like quote instant replay, it sounds like that might be get you what you're trying to do. Resolve replay can be taxing if you want to do slow-mo. My M1 had some noticeable dropped frames. Upgrade to M4 and it's been fine. Good tip. Cool. I want to play with that more. It's been a while since I've done that. Theoretically, I could do it right now because I'm recording this now, this ISO stream. But I need to go. It's getting late. So we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah, the HyperDeck is crashed. That's so weird. It's got to be related to the network issues. Can a NUC PC start Resolve? If it's running Windows, sure. You want to use it as a cheap HyperDeck. I would say if you're trying to just use it as a cheap HyperDeck, it's probably going to be more trouble than it's worth. And you should just get a cheap HyperDeck. If you're really trying to just do a straight record and straight playback. Also, they're not even that cheap necessarily. So, don't know how much you can save compared to like the $500 HyperDeck. Yeah, a HyperDeck is a cheap HyperDeck. Okay, now we're really gonna wrap this up. Thanks everyone, this has been fun. Thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to all the other channel members as well. Really appreciate it. If you are a member, make sure you have joined the members only Discord, and that will give you a chance to chat throughout the week about see what, based on what else is going on, and yeah, it'll be fun. I have another wild week coming up again, so I will be on the road a bunch, traveling. I will be traveling and Seattle and San Francisco and back and forth, and it's complicated. Anyway, then I will get to more wiring hopefully on Friday and finish up that rack of gear. It'll be fun. All right. Thanks everybody. I will see you all again next week. Same time, same place. Bye.